Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Hockey, TITTH number 116. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Nick Davis with me tonight. Tell him what's up, Nick. How we doing, sir? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's been kind of crazy for me over here. Had a fender bender, not me, but someone else. And we've been dealing with that. And we got our negative COVID tests, so those were all good. So back in the office. So just getting back into the swing of things today. Glad to be talking about hockey now.
Sounds good. Sounds like a wild Monday, actually. Not too bad. How was the weekend?
It was the calm before the storm. Like it was eerily calm, and we just had a good time just watching TV and finishing out the quarantine. So the weekend was good.
Yeah, we just chilled out as well. Caught some of the fights. That was pretty good. Picks were pretty solid. Would have liked to see the ending of that Jan and Sterling fight without a DQ. And Israel, hey, he put up a good fight, but man, just got outmanned, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of interesting because for me going into the fight, I just thought that Blazkowicz was, bigger and he's going to, take a lot more damage. And we did see that. So, I'm glad that, Israel Adesanya, I don't know if John Jones is going to happen.
Doesn't look as appetizing after that one, huh?
Yeah. Hey, Justin, for some reason your video went out.
Oh,
there it is.
I don't know what it's doing.
There you are.
Appreciate the acknowledgement there, sir. Tyler, up in the chat. TB, welcome, sir. How we doing? Yeah, good weekend overall. A lot of rest. Took a mental health day yesterday. Just lounged around the house. It was good stuff. But ready to get into it here. Let's. I don't know why this keeps jumping in and out. Hopefully that doesn't keep doing that.
How
are your Caps doing, man?
They're doing okay. They heard me talking shit about them. They reeled off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 6 games they won. They did lose 5-1 against the Bruins, but righted the ship 2 days later against the Flyers. So, hopefully you just keep this momentum going. You can't win every single game, but you just got to win more than you lose. So we'll see how it keeps moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really excited this weekend for the Hawks. Big matchups up against Tampa Bay. Took home a win, an overtime loss, and a regulation loss. 3 points, 3 games, not terrible up against the defending Stanley Cup champions, but there was definitely left more to be desired, right? So the last game they were up like 3-0, blew a big lead in that one. Of course, I had them at plus 1.5 on the puck line, and they blew that. That was terrible. But I did profit from them in game 1, in which they did cover. They just had an overtime loss. That was wild. They lost with 0.2 seconds left on the clock in overtime.
Unbelievable.
They were getting ready to go into a shootout. I mean, the Hawks kept it even, for essentially, was it 7 periods? They played 7 periods of really good hockey up against Tampa Bay, and then the last 2 periods of the series, they just they stunk. They were terrible. Connor Murphy left his feet on a hit. Who was it? Cernat, the defenseman for Tampa Bay, got laid out. Connor Murphy had his back to him. He jumped up, left his feet, got him right in the noggin. Cernat's probably got a concussion. Murphy might get suspended more games, but that was like the big, heavy decline of the game because after he was out, like it was just a domino effect, like rookie mistake after rookie mistake. We were dressing 7 defensemen. We only had 6 forwards, in a game where we really needed to dig deep and get the scoring going, and it just never came back. So they had a big first period, but couldn't finish it out. And, of course, they blew the plus 1.5 on me. Oh, well. I stayed away game 2. Game 2, of course, they won in overtime. Yeah. I was like, Tampa Bay is going to respond in this one. They're gonna kick our teeth in early. And, of course, we won in overtime. So that was all right. Made a little bit of profit there. Lost some in that last game, but it was all good. Let's jump into tonight's action. Before we do, let's cover some of our Monkey Knife Fight props. If you guys haven't checked out monkeyknifefight.com, be sure to do so. You can use promo code TOTHEHIZZY when you sign up. They'll match your deposit up to 100% for $50. So be sure to check them out. Got great prop bets, over-unders for fantasy points, regular stats alike. We're going to jump into some of our picks for tonight right now. You there, Nick?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I didn't know
I
if
was
you
actually
froze on
looking.
me.
No. I was looking at the Knights in the Wild.
Okay.
So the first one that we have is Jonathan Quick.
Mm-hmm.
Are these when you have them next to each other? Are they together, or you just want me to go one by one?
Nope, we got to hit them both.
Okay, so Jonathan Quick over under 27.5 goaltending goals, and then Ricard Rackle
Mm-hmm.
over under 3.5 shots on goal plus
Mm-hmm.
blocks. Ooh.
So,
Um,
so that's actually Cal Peterson now. I've actually got that is my pick for tonight because this morning when we posted those, they had Jonathan Quick as the goalie. So if you took the under there, you were going to be all set because Jonathan Quick wasn't going to be playing. So we got Cal Peterson, 26.5 saves over under. I'm taking the over there. And then Richard Raquel over 3.5 shots and blocks combined. I'm all over that. Raquel shoots the puck a ton. I actually picked him up in fantasy. He might be on our list actually for fantasy waiver wire here in a bit. He shoots the puck a ton. I don't even need the blocks to hit that prop. And for Cal Peterson, he's been a great goalie for them. They've been back and forth between Quick and Peterson. Both have been solid, but Peterson's been the better guy. And yeah, I think he's going to get over the 26.5 tonight. I think the Ducks will get enough shots on that. I think they'll do their due diligence to give Peterson some real work tonight.
yeah, I agree with both of them. I mean, 3.5 for goals, shots on goal, and blocks. I mean, that seems like a very easy number to attain, especially if the guy shoots a lot. And Cal Peterson with 26.5, like. I mean, honestly, I feel like sometimes that when the number's like too low like that, it's almost like an easy number to grab because I feel like a lot of these goalies face at least 30 shots, and if you're not saving,
On a good night,
around,
right?
yeah, I feel like that's absolutely possible. 26.5, so I'm gonna take the over on both as well.
Okay, cool. I think the next one up too with Jordan Bennington. He is not starting either. It's Ville Husso, who is also 5-1 in his last 6 starts. He's been looking good. So we'll do Ville Husso 24.5 goaltending saves plus Brent Burns 4.5 shots on goal and blocks. What do you got there, Nick?
I'm gonna take the under on both.
On the under on both. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that San Jose is going to be able to generate enough offense or enough chances for them to get shots on goal. But and that's going to feed into the goalie situation where they're not going to have enough chances to actually make the save. So it's absolutely possible that like they could shut them out, but he could do it in like 24, 23 saves. He can get real close to that line. So I'm going to take the under on both for this one.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to take the over for Ville Husso, and I'm going to take the under. Who was it for Brett Burns? Just don't think I don't think he gets the blocks, and I think he'll get a couple of shots on net. But like you said, San Jose, they're not great, right? Offensively, shots on net is about all they can do. Don't finish it, don't finish up front, play bad defense, inconsistent goaltending. Haven't spent a dime on them all year long. Won't lose a penny to them. Not one of my favorites to bet on. And we'll get to them here in a little bit in the game previews. Next up, we got shots on goal plus blocks for Darnell Nurse over Brady Tkachuk, who has a, half shot bonus? Yeah, half shot and half block bonus. So between the two, who has more shots on goals and blocks combined?
That's a very interesting question. I'm gonna say Tkachuk, because I feel like he's kind of like the focal point in Ottawa. I remember when wasn't he hurt last year in like the bubble, and they were making like a playoff run, and pretty sure he was like a big part of like why they didn't win because he was out. I think that he's going to have more points in this category than Darnell Nurse, who's a defenseman. So it's a defenseman against a winger. I'm going to go with the winger on this one.
Darnell Nurse does get his fair share of blocks, but he doesn't get a lot of pucks to the net. So I'll take Brady Tkachuk there as well. Next up, we've got a nice little heads-up matchup between McDavid and Draisaitl. Just whoever has more points in the game, but Draisaitl gets a half-point bonus.
I'm going to take McDavid.
I'm going to take Leon because they're always even.
Man.
If they get I know we're going opposite there of our season-long picks, but
yeah,
Draisaitl, he gets the half point, and they're like always even. Like if they finish with the same, I'll take the guy with the bonus when they're that close. So I'm pairing Draisaitl with Tkachuk on that one. Next up, we've got Alec Martinez, 4.5 fantasy points, and Matt Zuccarello, 4.5 fantasy points, under over for both. Zuccarello going up against the Wild. Or whatever. They're going against each other. It's the same matchup, so whatever. Doesn't matter.
I'm going to say Zuccarello is going to be under and Martinez is going to be over. The Knights have been rolling.
I'm going to go with that as well because Martinez does get a ton of blocks, and that will attribute to his point total. So I will take the over for Martinez and the under for Zuccarello as well. Zuccarello is just a guy that can go cold any night. He's on that line and can get scored on. So I do have the Wild, though, in an upset. Let's kind of get over to the game picks here because also in this game I have a prop as well. So we have the Minnesota Wild and the Vegas Knights. What's the opening line looking like on this one?
So the Golden Knights is minus 1.5 on the puck line at plus 205. The Wild is plus 1.5 at minus 245. The money line for the Knights is minus 109. The Wild is minus 101. Total points is 5.5, and for team goals, it's 2.5 for each.
Okay, I'm taking the Wild in this one in an upset. Actually, both teams have been very good. Very good. What is it? 7-3 in their last 10. Minnesota. They're only 2-3 in their last 5 straight up, but they have been covering 7-3 ATS in their last 10. If they're losing, they're losing in close games or going to overtime. I also have Kirill Kaprizov for an anytime goal prop, paying plus 250 tonight through a nice little $10 holler on that. So I'm high on the Wild tonight. They're playing some good hockey. Vegas, they're coming in really hot. What is it? 6 or 7 in a row they've won.
Yeah, they're hot.
I'm going to take them to lose tonight. They are playing on the road. A little bit less of an edge there. I mean, obviously they're a top to bottom solid hockey team, but I'm going to take the Wild, who are just on a bit of a streak. I like it. Take a little plus money. I was really looking at the board, the whole board tonight. There's only 6 games, and I was trying to pick my favorites for like puck lines and whatever, and they were a favorite to cover the puck line, but it's at minus 247. So I just figured, I'll drop some of the parlay picks, some of the multi picks to cover the puck line, and I'll just go with the Wild upset. What do you think? You got a shot?
No. Sorry to burst your bubble. For me, it's like the Knights. They kind of had like a day off almost with the Sharks on the 6th. They won 4-0, and then before that they won 5-4 in overtime against the Sharks. 2 wins against the Wild, 5-1, and then a 5-4 win in overtime. Like for me, when I see a team that's like rolling like this, and then they have 2 overtime games in a row, one against Anaheim, one against the Wild, both one goal wins, and then come back and beat the Wild again on the next night. That's very impressive. That's a very sound team to me. I think that with kind of like having the day off with the Sharks almost, I think they're going to come in pretty fresh with the Wild, and they're gonna house them.
We don't even give the Sharks the due diligence to say they're playing a game. It's the day off when you play the Sharks.
I mean,
no, but they did
tough.
Back to your main point though, they took 2 wins from Minnesota already. So obviously Vegas has the upside there. I was getting some second guessing. I was talking to some people the other day before the Blackhawks played their first game, and I'm going to use the same theory here. Is just that when you come off of these big losses to these teams, they responded. The Blackhawks opened up the year to Tampa Bay, and they lost 3 games straight. First game back, they didn't win, but they took them to overtime. Next game, they won. So if I have a best bet in this one, my instincts tell me that the Minnesota Wild should cover the puck line at plus 1.5. I think that's the easiest bet here. But I think they have a little bit more of an edge. They've been playing better recently. The better part of their streak has kind of subdued a little bit. Like I said, they're only like 2-3 in their last 5. But before that, they had a huge stretch of great hockey. So I think they're going to get right tonight. They're going to take home a win up against the Knights, who they are hosting at home, and give me Kirill Kaprizov for that anytime goal.
I do think that that man will score a goal, but I don't think that they will win. I think that the Vegas Knights will cover the puck line and win. So that's how I feel.
What do you think about the total at 5.5 goals? Vegas 3-7 in their last 10 to the under. Minnesota 7-3 to the over in their last 10. I'm going to kind of split hairs at 5.5 goals here. I'm going to take the over.
I mean, I could see like a 4-1 win. Like I see it being on the that half point kind of messing a lot of people up. I see it being a 5-goal game total. Probably a 4-1 win for the Knights.
Well, in their last 2 appearances, when Minnesota did lose, 5-1 win for Vegas, 5-4 win for Vegas. So I mean, they've gone over both times. I like our odds, but chippier play, iron sharpen irons, produces a better product and sometimes a lower scoring game. So that could be the case. Tyler's got Matt Zuccarello will score a goal tonight. Maybe we'll look up here and see what the value is on that. What's the next game we got up here? I know we only got 6.
Next game is Ottawa Senators against the Edmonton Oilers. So on the puck line, the Senators are plus 1.5, minus 123. On the money line, they're plus 193. Oilers on the puck line is minus 1.5 at plus 103. On the money line, minus 216. Over under 6.5. Team goals 2.5 for the Senators, 3.5 for the Oilers.
Ottawa's actually playing pretty decent recently. I mean, 5-5 in their last 10. It's not great, but for Ottawa, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. 6-4 ATS their last 10. They're hitting the over in their last 7. So I guess that's what I like the most here is the over 6.5 goals. I just still don't like Ottawa to win, despite some of their recent positive play. You got any value for them, or are you just gonna floor Edmonton?
I'm going to floor Edmonton. I do think that they are favored by 1.5. I don't think that they're going to cover the puck line at 1.5. It's going to be a 1-goal game. But I do think that they're going to win. Do I think it's going to reach 6.5? Like a 3-2 win is like what I'm seeing right now. Like that's just stuck in my head for them. So I think it's going to hit the under on that. And so the under on both team goals with a 3-2 game. So those are my picks for this game.
I'm gonna take the over, despite there is some value to the Edmonton at home, as you kind of mentioned. They're 4-2 in their last 6 at home to hit the under. So it is a bit trendy, and Ottawa hasn't been playing that well on the road in general. 1-4 in their last 5 straight up on the road. I mean, neither of us are going to pick them to win the game, but I guess do we think they're good enough to cover the line? You're saying they are. I'm not necessarily sure. I want to kind of stay away from the puck line in this one. I think Edmonton will win, and I'm confident in enough in the over to parlay those 2 picks. Taking Edmonton to win and parlaying that with the over 6.5 goals, and you'll get a lot better value on that because on the money line, Oilers are still like minus like 200, 218, something like that, depending on your book. So they're not giving you the best value in the world in what should be an easy win. However, the last time I said it was an easy win up against the Senators, they rallied like 4 or 5 goals on the Maple Leafs on a Monday night of all times and stuck one in their faces and mine alike. So you never know in this game. You never know. Do you like any of the team goals there? You like the Senators at over 2.5 or no?
No, I see a 3-2 game.
All right. Well, there you go. You're with the books there. They're not giving up those odds easy. What's the next matchup we have?
So the next game is Arizona Coyotes versus the Colorado Avalanche on the puck line. Coyotes are plus 1.5, minus 155 on the money line, plus 165. Colorado Avalanche on the spread is minus 1.5 at plus 135. On the money line is minus 183. Total points is 5.5, and over under for team goals, Coyotes is at 2.5. Avalanche is at 3.5.
Okay. There's some sneaky value, I feel like, for the Coyotes in this one. Colorado is really beat up. I mean, they're going to be without Nathan McKinnon. Cole Maker is going to be out of this game. He's been hurt since about a week ago, like the 3rd of the month. He's on the IR right now. Calvert is going to be in the lineup. He's a big part of their 4th line, big part of the checking crew down there. I mean, I still like Colorado to win, but I think that Arizona is a sneaky pick tonight to cover the puck line. I'm seeing them at minus 165 to cover. I actually like those odds to cover the plus 1.5. They actually have a winning record, 4-3 on the year to cover on the road. Is that great value? I'm not sure. I don't think so. They're kind of an up and down team. They're very streaky. It's just, I feel like there's a couple of extra holes in the Avs right now, but man, they're still such a good team. I'm going to pick the Avs to win, but I do feel like the minus 165 is enough to get me involved in this one to take the Coyotes at plus the 1.5. What do you think? Am I crazy?
I think without having some of the top players on the team for the Avalanche, I'm going to take the Coyotes in this one.
Just straight up? You think they can win it straight up?
I think they can win 3-2. So give me the over on the team goals for the Coyotes and the under for Avalanche. When you lose your top players, Avalanche is a good team, but when you lose top players, you kind of lose the chemistry, with any team sport.
Identity, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to say that the Coyotes are going to sneak one in today just because Avalanche are very shorthanded right now.
Yeah, and I think Arizona, in their previous matchups, they had Anaheim back to back. They had San Jose. San Jose, I think that was the first game they were without Maker. They won 4-0. The next game they won 3-2, and they just took a loss to Anaheim 4-5. Not great, Anaheim. Surprised they were able to score 5 goals. Holy hell, didn't know they had it in them. But at the same time, I think Arizona is just a better opponent overall. I think they're a better matchup, and I think they're a little bit more of an upgrade, as far as roster goes, versus Anaheim and San Jose. So I don't know if I love them to straight up win, but I do feel like they can cover the puck line. So you're betting a little more dangerously than me, but I don't hate it, and I will take them over 2.5. Like I said, this is a team that can put together goals in bunches. Their last game 5-2, 1-goal game before to the Wild, but 3-goal game up against LA before that. So I think they've got enough in the tank to get it up there. So they're missing JD Comfer as well. Tyler up in the chat. So yeah, I do like that pick. I like the +1.5. I like the over 2.5 for Arizona. The Avalanche, I do think there's still some value there for the over 3.5. It's paying +140. They still got a lot of talent up front. Mikko Rantanen, my boy Kazim Kadri. So yeah, I still think there's some value there. I'm going to take the Avalanche to win.
Okay.
-173. Not too bad for the Avalanche.
Next game up is St. Louis Blues against the San Jose Sharks. So St. Louis Blues on the puck line is -1.5 at +155. Money line is -160. San Jose Sharks on the puck line is +1.5 at -175. Money line is +144 for them. Over under is 6 flat, and for team goals, Blues is 3.5. Sharks is 2.5.
I hate this game. I hate the Blues, and I never bet on San Jose because they're not profitable. I hate this game. Blues 4-1 straight up in their last 5, not bad. 4-5-1 straight up in their last 10. They're 9-2 in their last 11 on the road. So pick the Blues to win. That's all I got. I hate the Blues. They're always pissing me off. Jordan Binnington's always trying to hit people with his purse. There's not a lot to be desired there. St. Louis 0-10 in their last 10 ATS. They can't cover. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Boo the Blues.
I will say that the Blues are going to win, but they are not going to be able to cover the puck line. They have had a shit ton of 1-goal games. And even looking back against San Jose, they won 7-6. Against San Jose, lost 4-5. Won 3-2. Like, and you just look through like their games, and it's all like 1-goal games. Like, they are in some tough battles. So I'm going to say that they aren't going to cover the line, but they are still going to win. San Jose just isn't the team. Like, you look on their game logs, and there's a couple shutouts on there and a lot of ones, and it's just kind of like disappointing for them. I kind of do like the Sharks, and I like their logo, like the colors and everything, but man, like,
does Timo Solani still play for them?
They got old fast. They got old like real fast. Like they were really consistent for a while, but then as soon as like all of them hit 40, they just like all fell off, which is like great. They had a very high ceiling, but man, like they have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, not a fan. And when you're saying that, when I was like, well, we're going to pick St. Louis to win, but they're not going to cover. All I was thinking in my head was like, well, if they're not going to cover, you have to actually bet on San Jose to do something right. That's just not something I can do. So I'm going to stay away from the puck line. Just give me the Blues to win however they want to do it. 1-0, 6-0, staying away from the total. No, thank you. I just hate both these teams too much. And like I said, St. Louis 0-10 in the last 10 ATS. You might be onto something there. Could be the spot for San Jose fans to make a couple of bucks in that puck line, but no, not me. I'm staying away. One of these teams will screw something up for their teammates. So I'm not with it. Not with this game. Staying away.
It's a lot easier to bet on something for something to go wrong than something to go right. Like, I don't think that San Jose is going to do something right. I think that St. Louis is going to do something wrong and just keep allowing San Jose to get back into the game. Like, you see garbage goals all the time in hockey. Like, I feel like St. Louis lets in a lot of those. So, like, it's absolutely possible that they're going to find a couple in the back of the net just because that's the DNA of St. Louis right now. And they're going to keep the game close. So that's how I feel. I think that, it's more St. Louis doing stuff wrong than San Jose doing things right. Like I'm not believing in San Jose, but it's a spot. Next game is Montreal Canadiens against the Vancouver Canucks. On the puck line, Canadians are -1.5 plus 165. The Canucks are plus 1.5 on the puck line at -190. On the money line, Canadians is -150. Canucks is plus 136. On the over/under is 6 flat. And for team goals, Canadians 3.5, Canucks 2.5.
I don't know why, but Vancouver just does not like hosting Montreal. They're 1-6 at home versus Montreal in their last 7. I still like them to cover the puck line at plus 1.5. I am going with the Vancouver Canucks tonight, at least not to win, but to cover. They've got your boy Demko in net, so that's
Oh, okay, that's good.
Nothing but upside there. I believe he's like 7-9-1 on the year. I mean, obviously that's not great, but it's way better than Brandon Holtby. And this team, I just feel like plays better ahead of Demko. Montreal not really that great recently. 3-3-4 straight up in their last 10. I see an overtime game coming, so give me Vancouver in an overtime win or loss. I don't hate them straight up, but I'm not going to pick them straight up just because they're still not a great team, and for some reason, Montreal's got their number at home. As it says here, 12-2 in their last 14 up against Vancouver for the Montreal Canadiens. So this is not a trendy pick I'm going with here. I'm going with Nick's boy Demko. I think he's had a couple of days off, so I'm going to ride with him. I'm going with Demko and the Canucks to cover the plus 1.5.
Give me Demko for the win. I mean, if your boys are going to get you strippers in the bubble and risk getting in trouble for you, they're going to play well in front of you. My boy Demko, Holtby, I love you, but you wear me down a lot. Okay?
I don't think you love him.
I respect what he did. I respect what he did. I respect the position that he played to get the cup to Washington. That's all I care about, and I respect what he did. But I'm glad that he's out of Washington. Demko, I've loved this guy since he had the stripper incident. That was a crazy story during the bubble, especially during COVID. But that kind of like put him on my radar, and I do think that they are going to win. Montreal has been like sliding. Like, I'm not impressed with what they've been doing. I believe the past 2 games that Vancouver played against them, I think Holtby was in net for them. And those games were kind of like not close. I think Demko is going to keep it a lot closer. I feel like Demko kind of like brings out the grinder mentality of the Canucks. And, that does well against the Canadians. So I feel like that the Canucks will pull up an upset tonight.
Well, Canadians got rid of Claude Julien, their head coach, just out of nowhere.
I did see that. Why? Why do you think that happened?
Things are going well. Things are going right. Let's just fire this guy who's like one of the best coaches. And the thing is like they did this before to him. Like I don't know why they did it. I didn't really look that deep into it. I'm not, Canadians conspiracy theorist. I got my own issues. All right, dealing with Joe Quenneville and the Jeremy Colleton, extravaganza, that exchange. Right. I feel like I'm going to wind up, watching my Hawks make it to the playoffs and either get smashed in the first round by Tampa Bay because of the COVID playoff format, where we just have to play the team in our division, 1 plays 4. And if Tampa doesn't finish first, then probably it'll be Florida, and then we'll get bounced out of the first round by Joe Quenneville. All right, that's what I'm dealing with right now. I don't got time for the Canadians and their shenanigans. But I mean, when these NHL teams are just firing competent head coaches that instill trust from their players, that have that like long standing, kind of like Hanson brothers, old school hockey, like they just kind of have that mindset behind them. No nonsense. In the NHL, we're not worried about cell phone breaks in the locker room. All right, Bill Belichick and Kingsbury, they're giving their time players in the NFL. Go ahead, take your text message break. Go ahead and check your tweets and your TikToks and your Dancing Bear apps or whatever the hell you're doing over there. Right? It's not like that in the NHL. So I feel like it's kind of starting to make that trend where it's like, hey, let's bring in all the young, pretty faces. We'll let the players do whatever they want and turn it into more of a players' league. Maybe the NHL thinks they'll get more out of that. I disagree, humbly. So that's all I can really say about the situation is they just don't like them, didn't want them there, got rid of them twice, literally. It's just a shitty situation. I'm sure someone will grab them. I'm sure someone will want to be good, change the culture of their team, like the Florida Panthers are doing with Joe Quenneville, going to be making a big playoff run this year. I won't be booing them. I won't hear anything from me. Don't hear a peep. And even if they smash the Hawks in the first round, you'll just hear a politeful golf clap from the gallery from me. Like, get them, Q. Stick them in their eye. That's it.
You want to go on to the next game?
Sorry for the little get off my lawn there segment.
It's all right. So the Los Angeles Kings are going against the Anaheim Ducks. Kings are -1.5 on the puck line at +200. Anaheim Ducks is +1.5 at -240 on the puck line.
Mm-hmm.
On the money line, Kings is -119, Ducks +108. On the over under, it's 5.5. Team goals, both 2.5.
I think I'm going to pick this one perfectly. I think that the Kings will win, the Ducks will cover, and we will go to the under of 5.5. Give me a Kings 2-1 victory.
Ooh,
yeah. I mean,
I guess
Kings been playing really good, 6-2-2 straight up in their last 10. The under hitting, was it 3-7 in their last 10? 5-1 ATS on the road. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think they cover. I don't think they win by 2. But at the same time, Anaheim been playing really good. 8-2 ATS their last 10. I mean, they're bad. Don't get me wrong. They're not winning those games, but they're keeping them really, really close. We say it every single week about how they're a very sound defensive team, just can't put goals together in bunches whatsoever, can't score to save their lives. I was completely shocked when I saw that total of 5 from their last matchup up against the Wild, or I'm sorry, Vegas, was it? Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't matter. They scored 5 goals in their last game. So they've been doing really well recently, but it's still 1-6-3 straight up in their last 10. But they're covering. So give me the Ducks to cover, give me the Kings to win, and give me the under 5.5 goals.
I'm going to take the over on this.
Right.
Let me see. What was the line actually at? It was at 5.5. Yeah, give me the over on that. I see it being like a 4-3 game.
Mm-hmm.
They are a sound defensive team, but what was sound even 10 years ago for defense is not sound. Is like considered like elite defense now.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot more goals being scored. I see a 3-4 game going to the Kings, but I think it's going to go to the over because there haven't been too many 1-goal games by either side for both these teams. Earlier in the season for Anaheim, but lately it's been 3-4, 3-4, 2-3, 4-5, 2-3, 2-3, 5-4. So like there's some goals being scored.
All right, fair enough. I mean, it's like I said, the last game they looked really good. They've been doing a lot of scoring. I'm just going with the trends on that one. Tyler in the chat said, "Wow, Tyler, if you want to give some context in the chat, that helps too." All right, I don't know if it was my straight up pick or what, but we want to know. We want to know. So let's jump over to the fantasy waiver wire.
Mm-hmm. You want to go? You want me to go over?
I'll start it off. We got Richard Raquel, guy that we mentioned earlier. So he had what was it? 3 goals in his last 5 games, and it's going every other game. So tonight, maybe he doesn't have a goal, but he should, get an assist or 2. Wow, a lot of points. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 points in his last 5 games. He is on fire. I have him on the shot total tonight for what is it? What do we need to Nick? Over 3.5. Hit it in the last game. Hit it in the last game. Hit it in the game before that. He's hit it in 5 straight games. I don't know how we don't hit that prop tonight. We just need Cal Peterson to come and put some real work in the net. Should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say he's only 34% rostered, so I feel like he should be readily available.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of like in a blind spot because the Ducks are so bad right now, or they're not so bad, but like they're kind of like not, touching the playoff spots available. But the stats that we're seeing right here, like that's incredible. I think that's really easy money, but as we have known on the show, it likes to go the opposite way every time we make the sure bet. So, but the every other game with the scoring, that's a good trend to look at. That gives me hope for at least the next 3 games. He's got to hit at least 1 to really have some points. So I would definitely take a shot with him.
Yep, I grabbed him on my fantasy roster this morning, so he is in my lineup tonight as well. So hopefully the Ducks, maybe they bring a little bit of extra offense and I don't hit the under. Who's the next one we got up?
Chandler Stevenson of the Vegas Golden Knights. He's only 17% rostered, but plus 3% the last day. He's had 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 5 games. He's got around 10 shots on goal. He's got a couple blocks. For me, he's given some points everywhere. Even if he doesn't score, he's getting block shots, or he's at least getting shots on goals. So for me, I would definitely pick him up.
He is always getting added and dropped. Very popular add and drop player. So if he's available, I say go and get him. He's not a guy that I'm really that concerned about just keeping on my bench. I don't know why he keeps getting dropped so much. Might have been just because of like postponed games and stuff like that. It's a weird year, obviously dealing with waiver wires in fantasy. So NHL is experiencing it the worst as far as like roster management, in my opinion. I don't think it's as bad in basketball. So, all right, next up we got Thomas Tatar, who's on a little bit of a tear. He's got 5 assists in his last 3 games. Only has 1 goal in his last 5 games, but recently, 3 assists plus 3 assists. Power play point, shots on goal, blocks, adding a little bit in everywhere. Obviously, we mentioned the Canadians. They're kind of going through a little bit of a lull right now after that Julian firing. So I think he's one of the brighter spots on the offense, and I would keep him rostered. 45% rostered, so I think people still really like him, and I think it's kind of a name brand player, right? Had a lot of positive production in Detroit for a while there before coming over to the Canadians, so I think a lot of people like to keep him rostered.
Yeah, being on the Canadians, it's always a team that's going to compete for games, and there's always opportunities to score. The last game on the 6th that we see here, he had 3 assists. And they won 7-1. They will have those kinds of games where they just kind of like pop off and everybody eats. Tomas Tatar is definitely one of those guys. So yeah, I would definitely have him on too.
Definitely a good streamer. I don't know if I keep him on my roster all the time, but definitely a good streamer.
The next one is Jordan Greenway of the Minnesota Wild. He's only 21% rostered, plus 2% in the last. Plus 2% in the last couple days or last day. In the last 2 games, he's had 2 goals, 1 assist. Got some shots on goal. His shots on goal have kind of gone down. He did have 9 in 2 games, 1 against LA and 1 against the Golden Knights. So he does get shots on goal. I would definitely keep him on the roster or stream him on the roster when you need some help just to get some extra points on the board for you.
I think he's playing really, really well. I like him on that line with Eriksson Ek and was it Marcus Foligno? So they've been playing really good hockey. I think they're a solid part of that lineup. So I really trust them. Eriksson Ek has been on and off my roster as well. So yeah, give me every little bit of Greenway. I'll take him. Pull up the next guy. I was going to say Cam Fowler. I was going to take him. I added him today as well. Or actually added him the other day, and he got me an assist in his last game. So was it 4 points in his last 5 games, all assists. Obviously, he's a defenseman, so a little bit less of offensive upside. But he's just been really solid. 6, 7, 9, 6, 11 points in all those previous games. So been enjoying that, at least the past couple of games anyways. Just a streaming option on defense. Doesn't need to be on your roster all year, but for tonight, I like the upside. Or actually, does he have a game tonight? Yeah, they're playing the Ducks. Or I'm sorry, they're playing the Kings. Plays for the Ducks. So I like him tonight as well. I'm going to leave him on my roster. Not going to drop him just yet. See what else I can get out of him.
Consistency matters. If you want consistency.
Not the greatest ceiling, but a very respectable floor for Cam Fowler.
Yeah. Absolutely. Next guy up is Noah Dobson, defender for the New York Islanders. Only 9% rostered, plus 1% in the last day. In the last 3 games that he has played, he has 1 goal, 2 assists, about 7 shots on goal, and 3 blocks. The game before those 3, or actually, no, sorry. But the one thing that I really like about him is that he's playing under Barry Trotz. And Barry Trotz, when he was with the Caps, he had some defensemen doing some crazy things. Like Dmitry Orlov was like a very strong player. John Carlson really came into his own. So, Dobson being underneath that tutelage, I think he can continue what he's doing now. I mean, 10 points, and 11 points in his last 3 games. That's incredible.
That's exactly what I was just about to list off. That production is amazing. You guys got to jump all over this dude while you still can.
It is against Buffalo, though. Like, take it with a tiny grain of salt. But it's still very impressive, especially for a defenseman. So, yeah, definitely jump on over him.
Yeah, I'm all about Noah Dobson. Him and Nick Leddy, too. If Nick Leddy's available, another solid defenseman in that lineup. I miss me some Nick Leddy. Blackhawks could really use some Nick Leddy right now. All right. Next up, we got the backup goalie for the Carolina Hurricanes, Nick. We had this problem last week. Neto Jokovic, whatever.
Neto
Anyways,
Jokovic. Okay.
18 points, 25 points, 9, 24, 7. He's been solid, especially in his last 3 starts. 2 goals allowed in each start, but he took home 2 wins, 33 saves, 44 saves, 25, 24, 33. He racks up a lot. I mean, that is a part of the system there. They're going to allow a lot of shots on net in Carolina, but he's played very well in front of them and a very streaking goalie right now. I'm all over him. If you can grab him, he's very solid spot start. If you need to fill in for somebody, or you just don't have that depth at goalie. It's another position that's a very weird this year in fantasy. I lucked off with was it Varlamov for the Islanders off of just free agency. I've just been scraping free agency for goalies because I didn't go out and draft the best one in the first round. So
yeah, I mean, shit. If you can blank Tampa Bay, you got my attention. That's great. For if the system allows for a lot of shots to coming forward, that's positive for your goalie in a way because he's going to have a lot of saves. But this guy has been standing really strong from what I've been seeing, except for one game. But he still had 33 saves in that game, so I'd be all over him too.
Yeah, he's got a lot of upside. I like him a lot. Who's the last one?
Ville Husso.
Ville Husso. We mentioned him. He's starting tonight for the Blues.
Yeah, so he's only 3% rostered, but the last game he played was against LA, 3-2 win, 15 points. Then played against Anaheim, a win, 5-4, 10 points. But he got 28 saves, 29 saves, 19 saves. That was against San Jose in a 7-6 win. He's getting the W's when he does play. From what I'm seeing, I would be on him as a streaming option for sure.
No, I'm all about him. 5-1 in his last 6, like I mentioned. All the points are there. The production's there. I got to jump on him. I don't even know how long Jordan Binnington's going to last. I mean, the whole incident with hitting everybody with his purse before he left the ice when he was getting pulled. Then he got kicked out of the game. It is a bad look, man. So I don't know. This Ville Husso dude looks like he's coming on strong. 5-1 in his last 6, like I said. I'm all about it. I'll keep him rostered until there's no reason not to be honest with you. I think that, the success that he's had with the Blues so far, I think it really could build on something. And they don't need to be committed to Binnington long term. It's not like he's an absolute elite goaltender and, he's going to, demand to be traded or something like that if he's not getting playing time. He'll just sit back, be quiet, and know his role. So I think they roll with Husso until he gives a reason for them not to.
Yeah. All you got to do is just not fake punch somebody and you'll be okay.
Oh, man. It was so bad. It was so bad. That video is just cringeworthy watching him go through that whole sequence. So, all right, enough about Binnington and his purse. Next up, we got some player award props. Some teams are, about a game away, 2 games away from the halfway point of the season. Obviously, we've got a lot of postponed games, a lot of teams making up ground, with games and whatnot. So by this time next week, we will have had most teams reach the halfway point of the season. So let's go through an update on some player award props. Starting off with the Hart Memorial Trophy, the MVP award. We're looking at Connor McDavid at -115 odds favorite. Behind him, Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews, Anze Kopitar, Mitch Marner, Brad Marchand leading the way top 6. Do you like McDavid still?
I like McDavid, but if the Blackhawks keep overachieving, I see no reason why Kane cannot be MVP. Especially with Taves being out, I'm highly impressed with what's going on. And everyone that's been watching hockey knows that Kane is at the top of the pyramid in Chicago in terms of playmaking and being part of the offense. So he's really taken this year by the horns and put himself in the MVP race. So, I mean, that's someone I would do a $5 holler on this just because I believe that if Chicago keeps overperforming, then there's no reason why he can't because Connor McDavid, while he is very electric, is it really going to push the Edmonton Oilers past the first round, the second round, like that? And it's kind of crazy that we're talking about a regular season trophy, but that's kind of how I feel about McDavid. Everyone knows he's so elite, but Kane's actually making everyone around him better.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and he's just that important on the roster, right? Without Kane, this team would be nothing right now. I mean, obviously we're missing John Taves. Johnny, get well. We need you, buddy. If Taves comes back, if Doc comes back, I don't think we'll get Nylander back anytime soon. But if those guys can get back in any sort of fashion whatsoever, Taves at 80%, we'll be fine. We'll be great. We'll make the playoffs for sure. And even if he does come back or Doc comes back and he's plays well, very impactful on the game, I still think Kane gets this award no matter what, as long as the Blackhawks make the playoffs at this point, because they will be the most overachieved team if they do so. And the way it sets up, with that division right now, it's so good. We're going to get to some team playoff odds here in a bit, but Tampa Bay 36 points, Carolina 35, Carolina 34. You have the Blackhawks there at 31. They've played a few more games than some of these teams, but behind them, you got Columbus, who's struggling right now. They're 6 games behind the Blackhawks, and you got Nashville, who's 6 points behind, and Nashville, who's 9 points behind. They've got a lot of ground to make up. And the Blackhawks, the way that they're looking, the way that they're playing up against these top teams, I just don't see it. I mean, the Blackhawks, they do to their right. They've got a bit of a tougher schedule ahead, but that's exactly what I was saying before this Tampa series. And here they are. They come out with 3 points in 3 games. Can't hate that. If you told me they lost in each game in overtime, you wouldn't mind that. I mean, obviously, we got a win. We took one of everything: an overtime loss, a win, and a loss. Right up against the defending Stanley Cup champions. That's pretty solid. They'll have matchups with Florida and Carolina coming up, but if they hold off that division and they make the playoffs, it's kind of the same thing as last year. The reason why they were even in that bubble to begin with, they're just a marketable team. In a really down year like this, we don't need to give it to McDavid. He'll get it the next 3 years. Let's give it to Kane.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and it just plays into like American players. They don't get to win the MVPs all the time. Just another notch under their belt. Always trying to prop up some more USA hockey. So yeah, I like Kane a lot. And guys, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we gave you Kane at, I believe, plus 600. Same exact storyline. Blackhawks make the playoffs. Kane's going to get it just because they are that bad. Believe me. Trust me. They are that bad. My goodness. Watching that team without just Connor Murphy in the game after he got kicked out. Wow, brutal. Would not want to see them without Kane. So give me Kane. I like any of these back end options. Brad Marchand plus 1,900. Jonathan Huberdeau plus 1,900. Leon Draisaitl plus 1,900. Any of these guys?
Maybe Draisaitl, but he's really got to make like a big point difference between him and McDavid in order to even be considered. Marchand, like, it really doesn't matter what his team does. Like, he can have like one of the best seasons ever, but everyone knows that the Bruins are one of the better organizations, and they try to be solid from top to bottom. Nathan McKinnon, maybe, but I would have to see a lot more out of him. Like, he's got to really be challenging McDavid for like everything. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. I think if anybody, Matthews would be winning it instead of Marner, because I think Marner's more of a Robin, kind of like a Kyrie Irving. But
I heard Matthews has actually got this like lingering injury in his wrist, and that's what they're attributing to his low goal scoring. I mean, he's doing just fine. He's playing. They're winning games. The team is great. It's the best team in the league, probably number 1 in power rankings if you want to go that route with it. But at the same time, is taking a little bit of a dip in scoring. And I also think that roster is just too deep. I mean, we talk about the Maple Leafs all the time, how good they are, how stacked those lines are. I just don't see it. To me, they look like what the Blackhawks were when they were just constantly loading up all the time. They're like, oh, Andrew Ladd's available. Yeah, bring him over here. We got a spot for him. We're making another run. No big deal. Like stuff like that, where we were just like adding studs just out of nowhere. So I think that team's going to be tough to give somebody an MVP. Whether even Mitch Marner's right there at plus 1,500. So when you have multiple players on the same roster, I just think they're obviously just going to eat out of each other. That's why I don't trust them. McDavid at minus 115 is because you got Leon Draisaitl not that far behind at plus 1,900. Number wise, it's really far away. But at the same time, they're both in the top 9, top 10. So I'm not buying McDavid with it. He's got plenty more years to take home the MVP. Kane's window is kind of closing, kind of closing a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Vezina best goaltender, Andrei Vasilevsky leading it at plus 125, and then we've got Marc-Andre Fleury at plus 350, Grubauer at plus 650. Varlamov for the Islanders at plus 850. Kevin Lankinen plus 1,000. That's going to be my pick. Frederick Anderson at plus 2,500. Talbot, Carter Hart, and Hellebuck rounding it out for the top 9. Who you got in here? You already know my pick.
Yeah, Kevin Lankinen, or Lankinen. I would do a $5 hour on him just because, like, it's kind of wild what's
Go.
going on
Let's
in Chicago right
go.
now. Like, it's almost like when they were like winning Stanley Cups, like there's almost like that kind of excitement because they're like, oh my god, like I
Mhm.
can't freaking believe this is happening right now. And everybody's in the conversation for like their awards. So that would be my $5 hour. I would say, I mean, goaltending is shitty this year. Like, there's
So I'm
not
saying,
much
if not now, then when? Likenen, let's go.
like it's like an year, to be honest. Like, if he just went if you look at the entire list, like Vasilevsky, like he's gonna make the playoffs. There's a lot of other players on the team that will affect the results of the game. Marc Andre Fleury, he has Lerner behind him. I don't even know how he's doing, to be completely honest, but got Lerner behind him. Grubauer, he's with Colorado that have a huge offensive output, but it's not like the games are huge distances apart. The games are pretty close, so I don't see it that way. Varlamov, Varlamov, I would say maybe, but I think that the New York Islanders, I don't know. He's a maybe, but that's about it from what I'm seeing. And Kevin Lankinen, all he has to do is make the playoffs. Like anyone in Chicago, just
He
make the
does it.
playoffs, and you're in the conversation for anything.
Well, okay, so yeah, I agree with you. If the Blackhawks make the playoffs and Kevin Likinen is still doing what he's doing, Nick, who do you think leads the league in saves?
Probably him. Yeah,
Kevin Likinen. Shots against? Kevin
Kevin Lankinen.
Likinen. Yeah, that's right. Kevin Likinen. He's not even working full time right now. He's getting days off. Come on. I mean, to be fair, everybody's getting days off with the way the scheduling is going with goaltending. He's got a .919 save percentage. Yesterday wasn't great, up against Tampa Bay. He kind of got a couple punches in the face for sure. So the save percentage might be a little bit lower today, but leading the league in saves and shots against with the success that the Blackhawks are having, you people at home better not be laughing at me for this Kevin Likinen pick. It's a bit of a homer pick for sure, but come on. The numbers are backing me up here. This team has no business being anywhere near the playoffs. They're getting excellent goaltending from this rookie goaltender. By the way, spoiler, he's my pick for the Calder. We're getting to some other value picks there, but I'm picking him to win the Vezina. I'm picking him to win the Calder. I'm saying he's the next best thing since toasted bread. Let's go. I'm all in. Kevin Likinen. Give him the big deal. Give him the big bucks.
So, have you placed a bet yet? That's the biggest thing. Is like if
I don't have a FanDuel account.
man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, and I don't use my daily wages like that.
Yeah.
We get a little bit closer. Maybe I'll spend a few shekels on the old Bet Online AG or Jazz Sports or something like that. But I need that money working for me. If I blow it there, then I'm like, man, that's 20 less bucks I have this week to bet.
I get you.
But I will.
Get you.
But I will. I absolutely will. I will get some money in on Kevin Likinen to win both the Calder and the Vezina. Damn it, Nick, you got me fucking saying Vezina.
It's not like I grew up in a hockey household and people were like telling me the correct pronunciations. I just was reading this and just be like, oh, okay, this is what it says.
Got me saying stuff and things.
The next one is the Norris Trophy, which is the top defenseman. So rounding out the top five, Kyle Maker at plus 250, Victor Hedman at plus 250, Charlie McAvoy at plus 600, Petrie at plus 1,000, Ekblad at 1,500. Honestly, I think it's going to be Kale Maker.
Yeah.
Because he's just been – he's hurt. Yeah, so, I mean, if he has the same struggles as he does with this, I'm going to say my pick's going to be Charlie McAvoy. The Bruins are a very solid organization. Charlie McAvoy is going to be this, honestly, I feel like he's the star of the new generation in Boston. And I think he's a good pick for this.
I think I like McAvoy a lot. I think that's a really good pick. I actually, right now, the way it stands, I'm all over Cal Maker. If you guys watch the show, I always talk up Cal Maker, how much I love him, how he's absolutely going to crush this award, but he's hurt right now. So with that, kind of unknowing information, like when he's going to be back, what his production is going to be after that, I want to step back away from that a little bit, right? For the sake of value and for giving you guys good picks. So I am going to go with Charlie McAvoy with Aaron Ekblad is kind of like my $5 holler guy. Like my back end option. 9 goals, 8 assists so far this year. I got him on my fantasy team. He's one of my untouchables. I don't know what's going on with my fantasy roster, Nick, but I feel like it's like my fantasy football roster. Like I am third in points. Do you know what my
Oh
record
no!
is? Yeah.
Oh no!
Out of
Oh
12
no!
teams, I'm third in points, Nick. What position am I in the standings?
What? How many teams are in it?
12, and I'm third in points. What is my standing position right now? 1 through
I'm gonna
12.
I'm gonna say 11th.
It's 9, Nick, but thanks.
Oh, dude, I was gonna
It might
say
as well,
9, man. I was gonna
it
say
might as
9,
well
but
be 11. It might as well be 11 right now. My goodness, it's driving me nuts. I was like, is this fantasy hockey or fantasy football? What the hell? Last night, the same thing happened. I scored the second most points. Guess who I went up against? The guy who scored the most points. Went to bed with a 9-point lead. No big deal. Yeah. Woke up. Oh, hey, look, another loss. That's brilliant. That's beautiful. Just
okay.
beautiful.
Okay, so quick question: are you the commissioner in this league?
I am not.
Okay, so what I'm gonna say is, because you're commissioner of like the football leagues and stuff, you can't really do too much about it. But with the hockey leagues, whenever you're about to get into a league, because it seems to be happening to you every single time you join a league that you don't control. Anyway, you join when they're like, "Oh, Justin, can you join this league?" You're like, "Yeah, absolutely," but you're gonna wait for the next guy to join and then you join.
for the
That's
sake of scheduling.
For the sake of scheduling, you're gonna game the system, and you're gonna be like, you know what, give me one more person, and then I'll get in, and that's how you're gonna game the system.
You know how I like to hit that random schedule button a few times.
I mean,
Like, let's really randomize this thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just really press it once, but yeah, there's a lot of leagues where they're just like, all right, well, everybody's signed up, the schedule's the schedule now, and that's it. And I feel like every time that happens and someone doesn't, randomize the schedule, don't hit the button, it's like, well, I'm in for shit. Like I'm in for some downhill stuff. I can't explain it, man.
When you actually have the ability to hit the button, when you're the commissioner, you should hit it 81 times for your number.
There you go. That's all I need.
That's how you get the crazy stuff to happen and get away from this crazy stuff. You got to do some crazy stuff to get out of it. That's what you got to do. Those are my theories. If you have any ideas, I'm more than willing to take them. But those are my ideas. You got to wait for that extra person to jump in, and then you jump in.
I was just gonna say to give like each opponent $5. So it's like, give me a couple of less starts, please, or something, because I don't know how to beat these people. I don't understand. It's like, all right, well, this guy's not great. I should beat him. No, this is his best week. This is going to be his highest production week. He's itching for a win. I can't get a win. I don't know. 2-5, 2-4, however many weeks we're in. I don't know. It's driving me nuts. But like I said, third in points. What can I do? I can't pick my opponent. So
yeah.
But yeah, Aaron Ekblad been solid for me. I run 3 defensemen on that roster, Nick. That's it. Just 3 defensemen, constantly rotating in forwards. It's working. The points are coming, but I can't get a win. Doing some tricky stuff, but the flying V is not getting it done. So we'll see what we get. Let's move on. We got the Calder Trophy Rookie of the Year. We got Kirill Kaprizov leading at -160, heavy favorite right now. Kevin Likinen, my guy, +300 at number 2. Tim Stutzel at +750. Ty Smith +750. Nils Hoglander, solid name, but +1,000. Not a leader right now. Philip Kurashev for the Blackhawks at +1,000. Puce Sutter for the Blackhawks at +1,000. Alexander Romanov +1,100. Josh Norris +1,100. Other than Likinen, who I obviously really like, I'll get off that soapbox a little bit. I'm just going to go with Kaprizov because he's the favorite. Yeah. Got him on my fantasy team. Got him to score a goal tonight. Hopefully he can get it done. He's just been on fire, and while he doesn't need to keep that fiery pace, he's going to be playing in all those games. So that's the leverage I give over Likinen. Is Likinen's going to be sitting out some games, and while I do believe he will get this award, I really believe he'll get it for the sake of some value here. Give me Kaprizov with the favorite money.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you because I don't know anybody else's name besides Kaprizov and Likinen. So
Stutzel's pretty solid. Stutzel's pretty good for Ottawa. But other than that, I don't really know.
Nobody's ringing any bells for me.
I mean, I like the Blackhawks guys and Kurashev and Suter, but they're just going to eat out of each other's hands. Kurashev had a goal in that game yesterday to kick off the scoring. Very nice, getting a lot of pressure to the front of the net. The Blackhawks have a lot of young shooters, so I'm liking the program they're putting together over there. But I don't necessarily like either one of those guys to take home, Rookie of the Year over those top options and Likinen and Kaprizov. I think it's a 2-man race. Likinen, though, those numbers, most saves in the league, not just goalies in the league. I think that's going to provide a little bit more pressure on Kaprizov. So the plus 300, I like it. And if there's anywhere that will give you the plus 300 and the plus 1,000 to win both the Vezina and the Calder, let's go. I'll take all of it. What do you think?
For Likinen, yeah, I think he's going to win both.
$5 on both. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's jump into some playoff teams to close it out here, and we'll get to shutting her down.
All
you
right.
want to go through that list?
Yep. Arizona Coyotes, yes or no? Yes, plus 450. No, minus 650.
Plus 450 is not that bad, Nick. Plus 450 for a team that's only one game out at plus 450. I don't hate that at all. Do we comparatively have Colorado and Minnesota? Is that close by in that list?
Colorado. Let me see. What? I don't know why it disappeared like that. Colorado is not on here. And okay. What was the other team? Minnesota?
Yeah. So they don't want to take a stand with Colorado, which is probably smart.
Minnesota, yes, minus 650. No, plus 400.
Dang. So they're saying Minnesota's going to make it in.
Give me Arizona.
Yeah, I'll take Arizona, man. They're only a game separated from each other. I think that's way too much lopsided value there. Minnesota, they've been better recently, but that's just a streak. That's just getting streaky and catching their stride, midpoint of the season. I don't necessarily think that means that it's the writing on the wall. Arizona, this team's got some young, solid scorers, some respectable defense. I like them. Give me Arizona over Minnesota there. What about the Kings? Are they in that mix?
Kings. Let me pull them up. Yep. So the Kings, yes, plus 200. No, minus 280.
So between those three, Minnesota, the Kings, and Arizona, who do you think is most likely to hold up that last spot? Assuming that St. Louis just doesn't completely throttle themselves to the basement.
Arizona.
I'm predicting. Okay, Arizona. The Kings, I want to say the Kings, but I'm just not buying it. It's kind of going into that same production for Dustin Brown and Anze Kopitar. I just don't know if they can keep it going all year long. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna go Arizona as well, and I like the plus 450 there. Like I said, for being 2 points out, one game in that mix, I don't think either of those teams, Minnesota or the Kings, are like leagues above them, light years ahead of them. I don't think so. So I like the value. Give me Arizona at plus 450 to make the playoffs here.
Next one is Boston Bruins. Yes, minus 800. No, plus 550. I'm gonna say yes.
They're actually third in this division, and it's also a very close division. So you got the Islanders at 34 points, your Capitals at 32, Boston at 29, Pittsburgh at 29, and the Flyers at 27. And don't count out the Rangers. They're 10-10-3. No word on Panarin back yet, I believe, but they're starting to kind of find their own. I wouldn't necessarily completely count them out. Definitely the outside looking in, but Boston, Pittsburgh, or the Flyers, Boston would have to drop, 2 spots still. I think they're still going to be safe. But do you think the Flyers or the Rangers can leapfrog them?
I don't think anyone's going to leapfrog them. I think it's really going to be a fight for like the 4th position, and I don't think the Bruins are going to be in it. One interesting thing about the Bruins for me is that their young guys have so much playoff experience. They're almost like grizzled veterans. And for me, like when they're making that push, it's not for them like, oh, we got to focus up. It's like, all right, we know we've been here before. So for me, I'm gonna say yes. Like they ain't missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it would be tough for them to blow it, but it is still very close between them and the first team on the outside looking in. So realistically, I mean, they're tied for 3rd and 4th with Pittsburgh. So anything can happen. Just a couple of games, can go either way. So I'm still going to take them to win, but obviously we're not getting great odds there. What's the next one?
Do we have to go over Calgary?
How bad is it? No, they're only one game out. Or not one game out. They're 3 points back, and they're the first spot out of Montreal.
Who I'm thinking about
because Montreal.
I don't know why
they're on a kind of a decline here.
Ottawa.
Montreal.
I thought it was Ottawa. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. If it was Ottawa, we would just bet no and take off
Yeah,
3
I was like, what is this crap? Like, all right, so Calgary,
Mhm.
yes, plus 200, no, minus 280.
I'm still gonna say no. Still saying no. Still saying no. I think Montreal will figure it out. I don't think they'll have that long of a hangover from Claude Julien. I think they'll get right soon here. Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto. I am going to pick them to stay atop the top 3 there in that division. So realistically, it will be a dogfight between Montreal and Calgary, and I'm going to take Montreal over the latter.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. It's a tall order to get to that 4th spot, especially the way the divisions are built this year. So I'm gonna say no as well. Let me see. Next one up, your boys, Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, minus 150. No, plus 120. So book saying yes.
Give me
So
that even money. Give me that even money. Minus 150. Oh, get all day.
You're getting the MVP, the Calder, and the Bazina.
Stop it.
Did I pronounce it wrong again? I thought I did it right.
Okay. I just thought you were doing it on purpose that time.
Oh, my bad, dude. I got to work on
that. You'll get there. Who's the next one?
The Stars, yes, plus 125, no, minus 160. I'm going to say no, man.
Yep, because the Blackhawks are going to have the last spot. It's going to be, what is the Blackhawks, Tampa, Florida, and Carolina, just as it is right now. Columbus, 25 points behind 6 points. Nashville, they're back 9 points. Dallas, they've got a lot of ground to catch up because they need to play more games, but they only have 19 points on 7 wins. I don't trust them whatsoever. They're 7, 8, and 5. Even with their delays or postponed games, they're not playing great hockey. I'm not with it. I'm not with the Stars this year.
All right. The next one is the Edmonton Oilers. Yes, minus 440. No, plus 350. I'm going to say yes because it's going to take a major collapse from the goalies to actually for them to not make it. A major collapse. So I think they're going to skate by with just a kind of a minor collapse. Their offense will be able to carry them to the playoffs. But I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, if I could get a prop for having them finish second in the division, I'd be all over that as well. I think they'll finish right behind Toronto, and they'll easily make it to the playoffs. So I think that's a good one.
All right, Florida Panthers, yes, minus 1,400, no, plus 750.
Well, the books trust Joe Quenneville, so yeah, I'd say so.
I say yes.
I mean, that's an easy one. I mean, I mean, minus 1,400. That's Amanda Nunes territory.
Yeah. Next one, Los Angeles Kings. Yes, plus 200. No, minus 280. Give me no.
No, give me the yeah. They could get into that mix. I mean, we just picked Arizona to finish ahead of them, but I think the Kings could get into the mix if they keep this up to overtake potentially. Like I said, I'm picking St. Louis to just tumble. Colorado, maker for a while. Maybe they lose ground, but the Kings versus Arizona and St. Louis, I think they might be able to get in there. If one of those top tier teams can fall. I like the Kings, but at the end of the day, they've been trendy. They've been trendy, so I think we need to see more for sure.
Yeah, I think we need to see a little bit more. Still going to say no right now, though. Minnesota Wild, yes, minus 650. No, plus 400.
We'll skip that one because we already went through with that whole mix
okay.
that we just did. Same thing for the Canadians. They're saying that they're going to make it in at minus 1,100. No is plus 700. So they're saying that the Canadians are going to make it in. You agree?
The Canadians, I'm going to say yes. Like I said, after top 4 in the North, it's it's a very tall order to get past those teams because Montreal is almost like the professional, or it's almost like the Boston Bruins of the Canadian teams. Like they're in it almost every single year, and it's just like I feel like I'm constantly seeing Carey Price, have to go through someone's have to go through Carey Price to get to the Stanley Cup. So that's how I feel about Montreal. I think that they're going to definitely make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I do think that the plus 700 to the no, though, there's some value there because there's only a 3-point difference between them and Calgary. I'm not picking it to hit, but there's some real value there. If you're much higher on Calgary, seeing something that we don't, that might be a pick for you guys to lay it on the no on the Canadians at plus 700. I certainly don't see it. I think the Canadians are still a better team than Calgary, and it's going to be between them to sell out that 4 spot. But I think that's some real value there for only a 3-point spread. So I wouldn't hate it either way, but I am going to take the Canadians to make it.
The next one is the Islanders. Yes, minus. Oh no, sorry, the Devils plus 800 for yes. No, minus 1700. I think they're just messing with people. Like
Yes, to make the playoffs. Oh, plus
yes,
800. They're trying to give you some value here. What is it at 8, 11, and 2? This is a team that actually likes to cover the puck line. They keep games close. They play good defense, but that is not where you should be putting their money on them to make the playoffs. Follow these guys, catch a plus 1.5 every now and again, but no, not to make the playoffs. They're just not good enough. Not deep enough of a roster.
Next one, Islanders. Yes, minus 950. No, plus 600. I'm going to say yes. They're first in the division right now.
One of the best teams in hockey, absolutely. 1,000% making the division or making the playoffs. Sorry.
Yeah, Rangers. Yes, plus 260. No, minus 410.
I'm gonna go with the no. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the no.
Still trying to figure themselves out. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. I mean, they're not incredibly far behind. It was like by 4 points a couple of games, but I don't think they'll be able to make up that ground consistently. I think they'll just 2 steps ahead, 4 steps back. Kind of been their MO this year.
Next one up is Philadelphia Flyers. Yes, minus 210. No, plus 145. I'm gonna say no because I think the top 3, which is New York Islanders, the Washington Capitals, Boston Bruins, and Pittsburgh Penguins. I think that's going to stay the East representation.
I agree with that.
Next one is the Penguins. We just went over that. It's yes, minus 195, no, plus 140. So yeah, I'm going to say they're going in.
Yeah, same with the Penguins.
San Jose Sharks.
No.
This is
No San Jose Sharks. Sorry.
No.
We don't have to go to that one. St. Louis Blues. Okay. Yes is at minus 280. No is at plus 200. I'm saying they could slip.
I'm gonna say they're slipping. They're slipping.
I mean, plus 200 to the no is actually pretty low. I'd say for a team that's like second in their division. So the books and we're thinking the same thing, or at least we're getting pretty close to it. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Next up, we got the Vancouver Canucks. Yes, makes the playoffs is at plus 450. No is minus 650. Pretty writings on the wall there. Don't think they're going to make it.
Nope.
How about this one? Your Caps. Yes is at minus 280. No is at plus 220. Not that far off from the Blues. You got any concerns?
No. It's going to be yes. They're going to go to the playoffs. And I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but they're going to definitely make it hard for whoever has to go through them.
All right, so I'm going to go rapid fire through these next ones. Blue Jackets or Predators. Can they make it?
Predators. Less issues.
I'd say the Blue Jackets between the two. If I had to pick a team to topple over the Hawks, they're the closest. Maybe they figure things out with Roslovich and company, and some of these newer guys, Patrick Line, and then Winnipeg. Yes is at minus 800, so I'm pretty sure we're going to hit that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's get some live updates really quick on some of these games, and then we'll dip out. Let's see. The Wild are up 1-0. Let's see if my boy Kirill has the first goal. He does not. Also does not have an assist. But the Wild are up over the Vegas Knights 1-0 at the end of the first. And that's it. That's all we got. Late start of games this week. We're used to the old 7:08 starts, not the 8:08 starts. So that's pretty much it. You got anything to close down the show, Nick?
Nope. Jinx finally showed back up for his little cameo at the end. So that's about it. It was fun talking hockey.
Go meow yourself, Jinx.
He's just having fun with the blanket. He's getting in his spot. He's getting comfortable for the night.
Chilling. You can see his eyes. That's dope. All right. Take care. Be well, guys. This was Take It to the Hizzy, number 116. We'll see you next week. Take care.